Shalom, and welcome to Bible Stories as Blueprints of the Soul, your Biblical Hebrew podcast. Shalom and welcome to our Biblical Hebrew podcast. In Psalms 102, we read the following words. Tfilah le'ani ki ya'atov. A prayer for the poor because he will rap. Velifnei Hashem, and in front of the Lord, he will pour his conversation. Again, Tfilah le'ani ki ya'atov. A prayer for the poor because he shall be wrapped or covered. Velifnei Hashem yishpoch sicho. And before the Lord he will pour his conversation. In the book of Zohar, we read about 4 different types of prayers. Tfilah leMoshe, a prayer to Moses, a prayer to Habakkuk, a prayer to David, and a prayer to the poor. The book of Zohar states an obvious fact that there are 4 different kinds of prayer, but the most dear is the prayer of the poor. Why? Because the poor is associated with the heavenly kingdom, the last hay of the Tetragrammaton, and her natural state is that we are disconnected from the source. So this is why the book of Zohar says that Tfilah le'ani, a prayer for the poor, is most dear and is being answered first. It's like a situation when people are waiting for the doctor. They make an appointment or they sit in the reception hall. They are waiting that somebody will call their name or notice them that I can enter the doctor's room. But suddenly comes emergent case, and though there are appointments which were decided long time before this current date or moment, the emergency case comes first because it's a matter of life or death. In the same manner, Psalms 102. Tfilah le'ani ki ya'atov. A prayer for the poor because he is the last one. He is the most disconnected, the poor in us. And the definition of poor inside of us is not a person who likes money, but a poor refers to a poor-minded person that thinks that he is very far from the source, that feels that he is lacking everything. So David advises us here in Psalms 102, Tfilah le'ani ki ya'atov. Meaning, he says, if we are already in the moment of being poor-minded people, our prayer as poor-minded people will be accepted first. And how does this process happen? David says, Velifnei Hashem yishpoch sicho. And before the Lord, the name, the Tetragrammaton, the sovereign inside of us, he shall pour his conversation. Meaning, don't be afraid to converse. Once we are pouring our conversation from the heart, this is considered to be the prayer of the poor. And this prayer has an advantage for all the other 3 prayers. Tfilah leMoshe, a prayer to Moses. Tfilah leChavakuk, a prayer to Chavakuk. And Tfilah leDavid, a prayer for David, because the prayer of the poor is the lost sheep from all of the herd that we have counted so far. And the last sheep, the farthest sheep, is the most beloved one. And this is why this prayer will be answered first. And this is what happened this morning. I had different plans to speak about topics that I promised our friends or discussed with our friends, but sometimes comes the prayer of the poor and wishes to be spoken. So this was just a forward to say what wants to be said. In the book of Amos, chapter 7, verse 5, the prophet says, Mi yakum Yaakov, who will stand Jacob? Ki katon hu, because he is small. Amos says something very interesting. Who will cause or who will establish or make Jacob stand? Because Jacob is little. This is a metaphor or an image of a person or a child. When we sit on a chair or on the sofa, our height is in the middle. And if we stand up, we can see the whole height of a person. Prophet Amos is asking who will cause Jacob to stand because he is little when he sits. What does Amos mean in this verse? The name Jacob is written with 4 letters: Yod, Ain, Kof, Bet, Yaakov. The volume of the name Jacob is 182. 182 is also 7 times the tetragrammaton. Yod, He, Vav, He, the name with the 4 letters, or the Lord, has the value of 26. 7 times 26 is 182. Returning to Amos' words, the name Jacob refers to the 7 lower spheres. Again, the name Jacob, 182, refers to the 7 lower spheres. For 7, in Hebrew, Sheva, Shin, Bet, Ain, which contains the 2 letters Shin, Bet, which means to sit. When we are sitting, is like a person who lives in time, sitting. Lashevet, to sit. Sheva, 7. 7 is associated with the action of sitting. But when we stand up, and this is what Amos means, when this little part of us which lives inside of the bondage of time and space is like we're sitting. But when we stand up, we gain 3 kinds of minds which outside time and space. We gain 3 upper spheres: crown, keter, chokhmah, wisdom, and bina, understanding. And for this reason, Amos is asking, who will cause Jacob, the little one, the 7 times tetragrammaton, to stand up? Because 7 is only part of the picture. The full portion is 10. So in order to gain the three upper spheres, which outside or beyond time and space, we have to cause the sphere of understanding, which is named here me, who will have to cause Jacob stand up and realize that he is not that little, meaning limited in time and space. Because in time and space, our definition is Jacob, 7 times the tetragrammaton. But beyond time and space, our definition is Israel, Yisrael, because the volume of Yisrael is 541, like the sum of all the first letters of the 10 spheres in the tree of life. If we take every first letter from each of the 10 spheres of the tree of life, Kaf for Keter, Chet for Chokhmah, wisdom, Bet for Binah, which is understanding, and so on, and we sum up all of their values, we reach the sum of 541, like Yisrael. Or Israel is not just named with 5 letters, Yod, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, but also a combination of 2 words, Li, Rosh. I have a head, meaning via my head or our connecting to those 3 upper spheres, which are called head or Keter, Chokhmah, and Binah, crown, wisdom, and understanding, I can gain a new perspective, fresh perspective about life, which is beyond space and time. And upon the name Israel, Yisrael, Jeremiah is saying, Prophet Jeremiah in chapter 51, verse 5, Ki lo alman Yisrael. Yisrael, letters Li Rosh, I have a head. A person with a head is Israel. This is definition. This is the definition. So Jeremiah says, Ki lo alman Yisrael. A person with a head is not a widowed. Why? Unlike Jacob, when his beloved one, Rachel, died in space and time, when people lose something, they are considered to be widowed. But a person who lives beyond space and time, he never lacks anything because he is united with the tree of life. And those are the words of Prophet Jeremiah, Ki lo alman Yisrael. So with these kind words of the prophet Amos, Jeremiah, and the Psalms of David, we are sealing our conversation today. That was the prayer of the poor, the one who caused all others' plans to wait because she's the one who wanted or wished to be spoken. Wishing you all beautiful day, wonderful week, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Thank you for listening to Bible Stories as Blueprints of the Soul. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to hear more about a certain topic, just write us an email to hebrew@learnoutlive.com. We are always happy to hear from you. For more episodes, videos, and articles like this, please visit our website at hebrew.learnoutlive.com. We also would like to invite you to join our live classes. Just search for Online College of Biblical Hebrew on Facebook and start learning now with students from all over the world. Koltuv and Shalom.